Welcome to this Asteroid City Ending Explained. I love everything Wes Anderson has made, with my favourite movie being Rushmore, but recently French Dispatch and Darjeeling Limited come very, very close. But for me, this was another level, and I was gripped throughout. While it was only in one small town, the lives of others was so very interesting. I'd avoided as much as possible about this movie and adored the use of the framing narrative. Essentially, this movie is, a bright coloured widescreen story of Asteroid City, and the alien visit is a movie within a movie, almost within a movie, or a play to be specific. But there is another layer of confusion. Bryan Cranston is the host of a TV special. He informs us that nothing is real. The TV special explores the mind of Conrad Earp, a in-universe famous playwright who created Asteroid City, and we also see the creative process of writing, casting, and the complications of the actors or players' egos and emotions, while also working out the wrinkles in the writing process, which are shown in fictionalized dramatizations which go back to an Academy ratio, while the rest is in native widescreen. But none of that is real. None of this, except our TV host, who I imagine is an homage to the Twilight Zone host, is supposed to be, quote, real. Conrad Earp wrote Asteroid City and sadly died 6 months into it, which did remind me of the writer of Rent, who I believe died the day before it showed on Broadway. I think, I could be wrong. Asteroid City itself is a wild story that mirrors our own in a Looney Tunes-esque world. We even saw the Roadrunner as well, which did make me laugh, and shout out to the guy in my screen who was like, ha, Roadrunner. It's like, yeah, we get it. The play follows the young junior stargazers and their parents, who all descend upon Asteroid City for Asteroid Day celebrations of science and space, while a scholarship is given out. However, an alien appears, takes the meteor that landed thousands of years ago, and caused the tourist trap crater to have a quarantine by the government. The quarantine does hit home, as it's essentially a metaphor for the COVID pandemic, as each person struggles to find their purpose in the world, like many of us. The junior stargazers are looking to make their way in the world and are amongst like-minded kids of their same age. They're trying to find purpose and also be understood, as they're so very different to their peers. One of the girls does say that she feels more at home in the Earth's atmosphere out of space, which, yeah, that makes sense. Midge is also looking for purpose as she juggles being a parent to a gifted scientist, but just wants to be a star, and both of them are quite difficult. She also says the same issues as Oggy, who, as more specifically, deals with trauma more blatantly with a wife who passed away, and he struggles with wanting to always have what's next like Midge, and wants to focus on his war photography career. The guy who plays Oggy in the original play struggles himself with understanding the play, as we saw at the end. The play itself opens with Oggy and his family dealing with a faulty car, while the rest of the junior stargazers make their way to the town. There is a problem with the car. There is a part that just flips around. I was wondering if that would ever actually be part of the alien, but it wasn't. And that is the point. Don't try and understand things, just let the story flow. Augie has to struggle with how to tell his kids that their mother died 3 weeks ago. I love the whole Wes Anderson characters who are just blunt, surreal, and just don't act like normal people. They act caricatures, which I really like, but there is a semblance of reality in that caricature. He has to deal with that also while starting a flirtationship with the actress Midge, which blossoms onto a quarantine-only tryst, but at the end she gives him his P.O. box, so it's open as to how well they would get on after that. But the group of kids all hang out and meet as we go to the asteroid crater. The movie had me gripped, seeing the motel guy, them all there, this small town. It's hard, I can't put it into words, but I just loved every minute of it. I loved how the inventions the kids made were very 50s style sci-fi, and while everyone is being monitored by the government agents and the motel manager tries to sell land and expand the tiny town, We see a solar ellipses, which I think is supposed to be a take on solar eclipse, as the kids wear the pinhole things on their heads. I remember the solar eclipse many years ago. Fun fact, I was on my way to see Doug the movie when that happened. I'm sure you don't care. But loved this whole scene. An alien comes and takes a meteorite, to the incredulity of the crowd. A typical US government and military denial happens as the general takes control and everyone in the town loses their mind. They're unable to leave, and slowly they all have to come to grips with how they are simultaneously being locked down and having to deal with the fact that aliens exist. The government control the information, similar to the pandemic, but the kids eventually get the truth out there, and place turns into a circus, which is the whole thing with people trying to find out the real truth of what's going on. No one understands why the alien arrived, took the meteorite and left. They cannot understand the purpose of the alien, which mirrors the people locked down questioning their own lot in life. All the while this was happening, Conrad Earp, who meets the actor Oggy in a dramatization, he writes what comes to him and never questions why. The actor questions Oggy's motivation and everything, and seems to be more like this eccentric actor, which makes sense later as the actor has a crisis of faith as he doesn't understand the play, and the director gives him advice of just be the play, just be the character and let everything else flow. Conrad also struggled with the third act and sleep as he seeks to get help from a panel of esteemed writers. Back in the play, the kids managed to get the news out there that aliens exist, and the photo also got out. The government still keep everyone locked down despite knowing the truth, and then later the alien comes back when they were supposed to have their quarantine lifted, but it comes back. So yeah, very, very much reminded me of the quarantines being lifted and coming back. More specifically in the UK. I don't know exactly how it happened in America. Everyone else, or at least have their problems dealt with, as Oggy comes to terms with not chasing being a war reporter and staying with his family and not running for the trauma. Each one of the junior stargazers start to understand themselves and their place in the world as they felt out of place and have become relevant in their own ways. Meanwhile, Oggy's actor starts to realise that he never has understood the play or the wider world, or even what the alien was there and why it came to Earth. The alien coming to Earth was lacking anything of purpose and boring. We spent decades wondering what aliens would do when they came to Earth. It's been mythicized and theorized, but the alien literally came, barcoded the meteorite and brought it back. If that means nothing, like if the aliens are nothing, then what do any of our lives mean? It's similar to religion finally being confirmed. Like, religion doesn't exist. None of the stories were true. What would everyone think then, as they've always kind of internalized their whole mortality by using religion as a sort of coping mechanism? Here, most of the characters are atheists, so their coping mechanism or religion is science, which aliens would be the next step. And this is what this is about. It's finally knowing yourself and accepting what your life is and not worrying about what is next. Now, the director says keep telling the story, and that's what really we should do. Just keep on going on. What I loved was how Oggy's character got closure as he meets the original actress and talk about those scenes, and we get that closure for him as the actor. It's all very meta and very, very good. It shows that the play was going to go into more sci-fi madness, but kept it simple, because at the end of the day, life is very simple. But that is it for that video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your interpretation of this fantastic movie is. Did you enjoy it? And let me know what your favourite Wes Anderson is. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.